good morning. Welcome back to the Portal Podcast with Bob Colbert. I'm your host, Bob Colbert. Hope you're having a great Saturday morning. This is March the 2nd. Can you believe how fast time is flying already in 2024? It's amazing. So we're coming up on spring, coming up on St. Patrick's Day. And so, yeah, the year's progressing. So last week we talked about the Arch of Septimius Severus. I thought that it would be a little bit different presentation today. That was episode 16. Well, it turns out that episode 17 is pretty much on Arch of Septimius Severus as well. So the difference is it goes into a little bit more details into the ornateness reliefs that are on the arch. So let me go ahead and post that on there, and I'll show you the arch in different lights and stuff. So let's see. So this is what we're talking about, the Arch of Septimius Severus, and this is it during the daytime. And I'll show another wide angle shot in the daytime. So we've already discussed this Basilica Maxinius to the right. And in the middle there is the Arch of Septimius Severus. And then I also found a night shot of it. So let me put that up. So that would show you that. So there it is in the evening. So today we're going to talk about the reliefs that are on the face of the arches and talk a little bit about that. Before we go there, let's go ahead and review the video so that you can get context for the content of today's episode. I'll catch you on the other side.
Accordingly, Goethe's image and inscriptions referring to him were removed from the arch. The spandrels of the central arch are decorated by reliefs of the goddess Victoria carrying trophies. In the lower part of the four spandrels are personifications of the four seasons. The keystones of the central arch are adorned with images of Mars. On the two lateral arches, the spandrels are decorated with fluvial deities and the keystones with deities that are unidentifiable due to the poor state of conservation. One might be Hercules. Just above the lateral arches, a narrow band of reliefs depicts triumphal processions. The bases for the 8 detached columns are decorated with reliefs of Roman soldiers and Parthian prisoners. These reliefs are wonderfully preserved, maybe because they have been buried for much of their time since antiquity. The Arch of Titus is a 1st century AD.
All righty. So let me do that so you can see me, my beauty. So let me just go back and talk about what the Arch of Septimius Severus, what that's all about. And it's just a brief go over, and here it won't get too lengthy on this. So the Arch of Septimius Severus in Italian is Arco di Settimio Severo. At the northwestern end of the Roman Forum is a white marble triumphal arch dedicated in the year 203 AD. It was to commemorate the Parthian victories of Emperor Septimius Severus and his two sons, Caracalla and Geta, in the two campaigns against the Parthians of 194 to 195 and 197 to 199 AD. After the death of Emperor Septimius Severus, his sons, Caracalla and Geta, were initially joint emperors. However, Caracalla had Geta, his brother, assassinated in 212 AD in the practice what's known as Dominatio Memoriae. Geta's memorials that were strung about the Rome the Roman memorials for Ghetto were destroyed, and all the images and mentions of him were removed from public buildings and monuments. Accordingly, Ghetto's image and inscriptions referring to him were also removed from the arch. The Severan dynasty were great builders of triumphal or honorary arches, especially in the Eastern Empire. The Arch of Septimius Severus in the emperor's hometown of Leptis Magna, Libya, was built in the same year. The monumental Arch of Palmyra is also sometimes called Arch of Septimius Severus. Okay, well, that's a little brief description of it. Let me go ahead and show a little bit of map here so that you know where we're talking about. So on the lower right-hand circular area, that's the Colosseum. And then if you go a little northwest, you will see that blue thing. This is where the Arch of Septimius Severus is located in the back. So, yeah, and you can see that right there in the wide angle. It's way in the back there. All right. So the first image, what we'll talk about is in the front on top of the central arch, they have these spandrels right here, and I'll show that. And if you see, let me get down there. Sorry about that. Where is my... Oh, there it is. Okay, these were the goddess of Victoria bringing the trophies or spoils of war there. So that's what you're seeing there. And that central thing is a keystone at the arch. Now, a lot of these are worn away, so they haven't been able to really identify what they were and stuff. So yeah, you got that. And then this is, let me see. This is called the capture of Cestifion. It's called the siege and capture of Cestifion, and it's marble, and it's 4.90 by 4 meters. Yeah, and let me see if I can get a little bit of interpretation of it. Okay, I'll just go ahead and start reading the reliefs. That'd be easier. Okay, let me get that. Yeah, I believe that's it. So this relief panel depicts the events in the Edessa during the Parthian War. So relief, this is relief 2. This scene has many interpretations. One interpretation of this panel is a scene of revolt at Edessa, an ally of Rome. Although the bottom section looks like a battle, it is said to be instead a surrender by King Obigus to the emperor, who stands in front of the other Edessian figures, receiving their submission. The center section shows the king surrendering to the emperor. Another theory of this panel states that this scene shows an agreement made between the Emperor Severus and the city of Hatra. The way the emperor holds his spears downwards implies that there's a lack of aggression on his behalf. the other figures not kneeling contradicts the submissive theory. And then those winged was the winged victories of Victoria on the spandrel of the arch. That's what that was. Relief 1. Relief 1. Let me see if I can figure out which that one is. Well, these are the plinths. So these are called the reliefs on the plinths right there, and it shows the soldiers carrying prisoners away right there. And let's see, spandrels, the image, I saw that. Got that, talked about that, reliefs on spandrel, yeah, and stuff. So I'll just read it. So throughout the arch, there are many reliefs. Near the spandrels of the arch entryway are the flying Victorias, which we saw at the top there. Let me skip those spandrels. Right there. So near the spandrels of the archway entry are flying Victorias that mark the victory of the emperor. There are 4 statues underneath the Victorias that represent the 4 seasons. Prisoners of wars are shown on the pedestals nearest to the ground floor. So yeah, that would be that right there. But reliefs on the spindles. Yeah. So those are prisoners of war that are shown on the pedestals nearest to the ground floor. Visitors walking through the arch would see these images and be reminded of the imperial victories of Septimius Severus. Some of these prisoners had gloomy faces, and others had their hands behind their back, while a Roman soldier stands behind them. The loot and booty taken by the Septimius Severus and his men are shown under the 4 main reliefs. The loot is being transported on a cart, being pulled by large animals. The arch has 4 main reliefs that show scenes of the Roman wars against the Parthian Empire. Relief 1, the Arch of Nibius, represents the siege of Nibissus from 195 AD in the First Parthian War. The knight who stands guarding the city gate is the knight whom Septimius Severus had to protect the city of Nisibis after the war. Nisibis is also shown in the first panel. It is considered the causa belli, an instigator of the war, to the first war against the Parthians. The small building towards the top of the panel top of I lost instigator. The small building toward the bottom of the panel represents the Roman camp that put up during the siege. That was put up during the siege of Nibissus by Osronia and Adibini, who were defeated by Severus. The multitude of the figures represent the battle in which Severus was defeated Osronia and Adibini in the first Parthian War. Relief 2, this scene has many interpretations. One interpretation of the panel is that it is the scene of the revolt of Exodus. Let me show that one. Let me get rid of that. So, yeah. So its interpretation of this panel was a scene of revolt of Estesus, an ally of Rome. Though the bottom looks like a battle, it was instead surrendered by King Abigus to the emperor was standing in front of the other Decian figures receiving their submission. And in relief 3, this panel is on the capital side. We don't have that picture. And is a relief of the second Parthian campaign shown on the left of the relief, or the Romans attacking the city of Cilicia. Figures fleeing on the left and right were Parthian soldiers, and the top of the relief showed citizens who were surrendering to the Romans. And then we saw the relief on the right face, capital showing Romans taking over Sebastian final battle, and that would have been that. So let me go, kind of getting a little deep on here. So let me go ahead and show Septimius Severus and a little bit more information about him. One moment. Sorry about that. Septimius Severus. Okay. So his full name was Lucius Septimius Severus, born, let's see, in 11. His reign was, he was born, April 11. Well, let me go down there. It'd be easier to read there. So his reign was April 9 through 193 AD to February 4 to 11. His predecessor was Didius Julianus, and his successors were his sons, Caracalla and Geta. They were co-emperors, and remember, Caracalla had Geta assassinated in, I believe, 212. So he was born in April 11, 145. He was born in Leptis Magna, Africana. He died February 4, 211, age 65, in Borkum, Britain. Spouses were Passia Marciana, married 175, died 186 AD. And she was pretty young. What? Oh, that was how old they were married, from 175, and then she died. Okay, and then he also married Julia Domna, 187. They had two issues, Caracalla and Geta. His father was named Publius Septimius Geta, and his mother was Fulvia Pia. Yeah, so that's what he looked like. All right. So that's about all I have on that. So let me go back to the video again as a reinforcement, and I'll catch you on the other side.
Accordingly, Geta's image and inscriptions referring to him were removed from the arch. The spandrels of the central arch are decorated by reliefs of the goddess Victoria carrying trophies. In the lower part of the four spandrels are personifications of the four seasons. The keystones of the central arch are adorned with images of Mars. On the two lateral arches, the spandrels are decorated with fluvial deities and the keystones with deities that are unidentifiable due to the poor state of conservation. One might be Hercules. Just above the lateral arches, a narrow band of reliefs depicts triumphal processions. The bases for the 8 detached columns are decorated with reliefs of Roman soldiers and Parthian prisoners. These reliefs are wonderfully preserved, maybe because they have been buried for much of their time since antiquity. The Arch of Titus is a 1st century AD.
All right. So let me turn these off. And I'll put the night. So, whoops, put that one on. So we talked again about Septimius Severus, the arch of Septimius Severus. And so, yeah, I think next week is the Arch of Titus. So yeah, so we're approaching the end of this series. This is 17 out of 20 episodes. So I'm working on the next set of videos that we'll discuss. Not sure at the moment what they will entail, but I'm working on it. So if you'll catch me at 10 o'clock on the table talk, I said I wasn't going to get into the politics of our country and stuff. I kind of made it a rule, but I've been watching the Fannie Willis or Pawnee Willis trial. I don't know whether you've been catching up with it. So anyway, it's very interesting. And I thought I would discuss that, how it relates to our society and state of our judicial system. Don't really want to get into the connectivity of the politics. This is about Donald Trump, and I think originally it was 19 co-conspirators in there. So they were being tried under a RICO statute on there for, I guess, election interference. So we're not talking about the election interference or any politics stuff. We're just talking about the particular case of Fannie Willis. The problem there was they're trying to get the district, she's the district attorney for Fulton County, Georgia. So they're trying to get her kicked off as on this case because she hired a special prosecutor, and that was troublesome in the process that she did. Also, she was dating him, personally dating him, and that's an ethics violation. And then there was the way there was some money exchange, so a lot, and gifts and trips and stuff like that, supposedly on taxpayer dollar. So anyway, I thought I'd talk about that a little bit. Yeah, so if you catch me at 10 o'clock on the Table Talk podcast with Bob Colbert, of course, I'm the host there as well. So wherever you are on this lovely Saturday, I'm in Los Angeles. It's right now, it's sunny, but I'm hearing that there's rain to come in a little bit later this afternoon. So but wherever you are on this lovely planet, y'all have a wonderful day, and we'll see you later, friends.
What you do, you into me, but I can't let it go so easily until I see what it could be a time.